I'm back. Look who's back. It's me. I'm here. I know you thought I died. And I'm here to wrap up the books of the year. That rhymed. Hey, howdy. Welcome back to my channel. I am so happy to be back, guys. School happened and this channel just got away from me. I was too busy with writing papers and trying to keep up, and I got very behind on my reading and therefore wasn't making videos, but I am back now for the new year and I am so excited. My sister got me some fabulous new filming equipment, so I have that, which is very helpful because I can film at night now, which works much better for my work schedule. So that is great. And I am just thrilled to be here. Honestly, this is one of the few things in my life that I actually enjoy doing, so I really wanted to get back to it. So here I am. Today, I am going to be wrapping up all of the books that I read at the end of the year that I didn't get a chance to talk to you about. And then after I wrap up those books, I'm going to talk a little bit about the goals that I set for myself at the beginning of the year and some of my favorite / least favorite books of 2020. So let's just get right into it because I got a lot of stuff to cover. So starting with the book that I read quite a while ago, or I guess it wasn't too long ago, I kind of took all of November off from reading anything. I only read what I needed to for school. And then I started reading again in December, a little bit here and there. Finished a couple books. So yeah, let's get into it. The first book that I finished was Eclipse by Stephenie Meyer. And then I read Breaking Dawn, which is the fourth book for this year. Spoiler alert, I did finish my reread. Both of the last two books are in this video. That's over with because I remember Eclipse being my favorite when I was a kid. And I definitely didn't enjoy it. My second least favorite Twilight book, that's for sure. Right behind New Moon. But I did like it better than New Moon, and for sure. I liked it about as much as I liked Twilight. So much build up, honestly. To the climax. And Jacob is everything's a narcissist. Edward and I was like asshole. There was a great moment Bella for a huge vampire fight. Can't make her own decisions, and you just missed it. You just so yeah, threw it all away. It was pretty bad. What? Peace? I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. And happiness? Disgusting. Sorry, I got too excited there and made the camera shake. I'm so passionate about how much I dislike Twilight. I gave Breaking Dawn 1 out of 5 stars, and I will never reread this series again, ever. I'm done with it. I've decided its time is done for me. Moving on. The next book was a book that I read for school, so I'm not going to talk a ton about it because I do still want to do a video wrapping up all the books I read for school this semester, even though I am taking next semester off. I am not going. It was just too hard with COVID. There was just like, not going in person was really hard for me. I couldn't do the time management and I couldn't make myself do it because of my depression and my mental issues. It just wasn't working. So I'm taking a semester off, possibly more than 1 semester depending on the pandemic and how it goes. But yeah, that's just the way it is. I don't know why you needed to know that, but now you know. The next book I read is Signs Preceding the End of the World by Yuri Herrera. This is a novel by a Mexican author that is translated into English. It's a really, really short book. I read it in a few hours, but I absolutely loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was really amazing. This book reminded me a lot of The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, I want to say his name is. It reminded me a lot of that book in the kind of the way it's written in the journey story. But it is also about crossing the border and the border trip to America, and it was just really beautifully done. I really would like to read more by Yuri Herrera, for sure, if they have more stuff. So I really liked it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And then another book I read for school, which is the last school book I'll be covering in this video, was A Simple Story by Elizabeth Inchbold. This book was fine. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I liked the first half much better than I liked the second half. I did like it overall. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. And then the next book that I read in the month of December, right before the end of the year, and that was The Whisper Man by Alex North. I have now read both of Alex North's books this year. I read The Shadows earlier this year as my book of the month. And I really wish I'd read this one first. There was so many connections that they had to the second book that I didn't even notice when I read the second book because I had never read this book. So I really wish I had picked this one up first, but how was I to know, you know, what are you gonna do? I did like this. I like Alex North's writing a lot. I think that he has a way of writing thrillers. It's just so lyrical, and it doesn't feel like normal thriller writing where you're just like accounting the events. It's more deep and it looks more into the characters, and I really like that about his writing. I did guess the twist, of course. I guessed who did it very early on, and I was right, which I'm not surprised about. I find with Alex North's books that I really don't care that I figure out the twist. I care a lot more about the characters and the story than I do about, you know, just that element. So that's definitely a good thing, and I liked it a lot. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The next book is not a book I finished because I am DNFing it right here, right now, live on this channel. I really tried. I really tried to read American Psycho. And I didn't even get to the gory parts. I got to page 110. There was still no murder. It was still just going through this wealthy businessman's life and all of the clothes he wore and all of the brands that said clothes were. And I can't do it anymore. And so I thought to myself, I said, Avery, why are you doing it if you don't want to? So here we go. Bookmark. Out. I'm done. I'm done with it. American Psycho. I'm done with it. Bret Easton Ellis, you let me down. I wanted gore. I wanted murder. I wanted terror. All I got was a fucking Hugo Boss suit described to me for 80 pages. Okay, so that wraps up the books that I read in 2020. That covers them all. Oh, God. Excuse me. That covers them all. And now we're gonna get into wrapping up my year. This is part 2 of the video. When I began the year with a goal of 51 books. This was one more than I read last year. I read 50 books the year before. And I had kind of rushed at the end to get them done. And so I was like, you know, I don't want to do a ton more than that. I'll set it at 51. Lockdown happened and I had a lot of free time. I had a lot of time to sit around and read, and I ended up reading 74 books this year. That's really good. That's more than I've read in a very long time. So I am quite pleased with myself. I'm quite impressed with that number. I am so happy that I got an opportunity to read so many books. Originally, before I ended up stopping YouTube for a while, I was going to make a video of favorite books, a video of my least favorite books of the year, a video of the most surprising books of the year, and a video of the most disappointing books of the year, like Books with Emily Fox does at the end of every year. But I just didn't get time in December, obviously, because I wasn't filming and I was trying to finish up school. And so I thought that I would just go over briefly a few of my top ones for each category this year. Let's start with most disappointing. The most disappointing book I read this year was Mayhem by Estelle Laurie. This book was not bad. Like, it wasn't, I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, I think. Like, it definitely wasn't one of the worst books of the year, but I just wanted so much more from it. I wanted so much more from this book, and I just didn't get it, which kind of sucked. I still liked it, and I liked the characters, but they just set up way too many storylines, and they weren't able to properly conclude all of them. And so that is why it was disappointing to me. Another disappointing book that I read this year was The Tenant. I think it's by Katrine something or other. I don't even know who it's by. I was really, really disappointed in this one. I thought it was going to be a good thriller, murder mystery, but it was just really poorly written and not good at all. And I was really disappointed by it. I think I ended up giving it 2 out of 5 stars, which even that seems a little strong. Like, I maybe if I rated it again would give it 1 out of 5 stars. I just really did not like it. Yeah, so that was that one. And then my worst books of the year, we'll start with my least favorite and then we'll end with the good ones. My least favorite books of the year were New Moon. I gave it 1 out of 5 stars. Like I said in my video where I wrapped it up, New Moon has always been my least favorite Twilight book, and it definitely was. My second read as well, I gave it 1 out of 5 stars. Just really crappy all around not a good book. I just don't like Jacob, and I really don't like the wolves as a storyline, and it just was shit. And then Imagine Wanting Only This, which was a graphic novel that I read much, much earlier in the year. And then after reading it, I found out some things about the author and that she was just really disrespectful to the subjects of her book, and it just was really just disappointing and not good. And the art style wasn't good either, which I don't want to, everyone's opinion is different in art, so I don't want to say like, oh, it's a bad art style, but I personally did not like it, did not like the book. My most surprising reads of the year were Yellowbird by Sierra Crane Murdoch. I have raved about this book, and I still stand by everything I've said about it. I think it's fantastic. I think it's a phenomenal true crime book, and I think it's a phenomenal look at this woman's life, and I highly recommend it. I really wish that it got more buzz than it did. I didn't hear anything about it this year, which makes me so upset because it was so good. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, but I think definitely looking back on it, I would for sure give it 5 out of 5 stars. It was one of the books that stuck with me the most this whole year. And I just loved it. I think I'm also gonna buy a hard copy of it so I have it for my collection of true crime books because I thought it was that good. So yeah, that one was definitely in my most surprising. And then also Meddling Kids by Edgar Cantero was in my most surprising books of the year. I thought I was gonna like this book, but I didn't think I was gonna like it nearly as much as I did. I thought it was fantastic. 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely adored it. And that also brings me into my favorite books of the year because this was also one of my favorite books of the year. I just loved it so much. I loved the characters. I loved the plot. I loved the setup. I loved the creatures in it. It was so good. So that one also made the favorite books list. And then the other books that made the favorite books list are Vicious by V.E. Schwab. Nobody is surprised about this one. I love V.E. Schwab with all my heart, and I love this book with all my heart. Victor is such an amazing character, and this is such an amazing book, and I am so excited to read more V.E. Schwab in the new year. And then another one of my favorites of the year was The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I read this at the recommendation of my friend because it was her favorite book. And so I picked it up and I absolutely loved it. I adored the characters. I adored the setup. I adored the dark academia. Dark academia is definitely my thing, and I want to read more books in 2021 in that same vein. And then my last favorite book, these ones aren't in any order, by the way, but I wanted to mention this one as well, and that is Sin Eater by Megan Campisi. This is another book that was released this year that I did not hear nearly enough about. I was kind of expecting this one to be on like the Goodreads end of the year voting, the best of Goodreads, or whatever the fuck they call it. I was kind of expecting this one to be a contender, and it wasn't, which made me really sad. I think this book was so well done and such a unique premise, and I really think that it definitely should have been put in the historical fiction category and been able to be voted on. So it's a bummer that it wasn't, but I loved it, and this is one of my favorite books of the year. Highly recommend it. I might even reread it this coming year because I really liked it that much. That's it. That's the end of the video, guys. I am so happy to be back. those were the last books that I read in 2020 and my end of the year thoughts, my end of the year wrap up. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe down below. Also leave a comment if you want to. Let me know what your favorite books of the year were. I would love to know. And if you didn't like this video, then get the hell out, because your girl is back and she is not leaving for at least a little while, at least a month. We'll see how things go for me. Okay, bye.